Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, sister.
Welcome to this hour of meditation and meditation practices. Once a month, we have on a Thursday evening something that we call Meditating Minds. And it is to give an idea of what is meditation, how we can experiment. And it will be short meditation exercises. And in between, there is moments of sharing or moments of you can comment or ask questions. My name is Rona Sweitz, and I've been meditating with the Brahma Kumaris for more than 30 years. Still learning, still growing, still experimenting, still exploring. And so this is what will be our aim. But we will also use the whiteboard to give, what is the word? Visuals to sketch what meditation is all about. But first of all, maybe it's good to understand that there are many different forms of meditation. And there is benefit in all of the different practices. But the meditation practice that we use here is called Raj Yoga or Royal Yoga. And the aim of this meditation is to become master of the self, king of the self, king of your mind, and king of your life. And it starts with slowing down. Slowing down, not so much your legs, maybe. That also could be. But much more important is slowing down your mind and slowing down your thoughts. You have any idea how fast your thoughts are?
100,000 thoughts a day.
Sorry?
100,000 thoughts a day on average.
100,000 thoughts a day. Something like that. And in itself, thinking is not the problem, but we need to learn to only have quality of thoughts, higher quality of thoughts. And also we need to, or we could train our mind to have one thought and to hold that thought, to hold the topic of that thought for a longer period in your mind. And we're gonna practice an experiment with that. So let's do one. I will speak a few words and you just see if you can go along with those words, hold them in your mind. And what you will notice, of course, is that other thoughts will try to push their way into your mind. So you don't fight with those thoughts, but you just gently let them pass. Don't pay too much attention. Just like clouds, they come and they go. But you stay with the thoughts that are suggested or the thoughts that you choose yourself. Okay. So we keep the body comfortable. And for those on Zoom, I would invite you all to put on your camera. Not that we are looking, but it will help us all stay alert and to create that sense of we're doing it together. And so keeping the body comfortable, but not that comfortable that you fall asleep. Keep the back straight. If you're sitting on a chair, make sure that the feet touch the ground. And just bring your attention here and now in this moment. There may have been so many things happening during the day, but let us slow down. Slow down the body, but also slow down the mind. Slow down the thoughts. And just become aware of the rhythm of your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And just allow the body to be relaxed and tension-free. And on the screen of the mind, visualize the scenery as if the ocean and the sunset over the ocean. And that golden red glow and the vast horizon. And let the vastness of that image create a humbling feeling in the mind. And whilst the body remains calm, relaxed, and the rhythm of the breath, inhaling and exhaling, just gently hold that pleasant image of the vast ocean and the horizon and the setting sun and the golden red glow. Let that image fill the screen of your mind. And allow the mind to slow down And if other thoughts pop up, you don't fight with them. Maybe some thought of work or dinner, or they come and you just tell them bye-bye. And you go back to the sunset and the vastness of the horizon. And gently, as we come to the end of this exercise, let that calm stay with us. Thank you. Any observations? Was it easy to slow down? Maybe physically, but was it easy to slow down in the mind? Anyone? Or was it so slow down and calm that you fall asleep? Yes, falling asleep. In a way, that is a good sign. Doesn't mean that meditation means sleeping, but it means at least you felt relaxed and safe enough to just fall asleep. Or to start relaxing so much that you fall asleep. But it is also an indication. It was fairly easy. Okay. It is also, if you fall asleep, it also means there is some tiredness there. And that means maybe some balancing needs to happen in my life. That I do not rest or sleep enough, so that the time that I want to be awake, I can't. It is interesting, no? And I observed this also in myself, and definitely in Manhattan, the crowd here is always running and rushing. I sometimes ask myself, what are we running and rushing for? Because the end of the day, we end up where we started. But we are so used to being physically active, that when we physically slow down, we fall asleep, or you become lethargic or whatever. But to be able to live and to go about our everyday activity whilst being calm and being peaceful. What do you think will work best in terms of getting things done? Rush, rush, rush? Or calmly, peacefully? But somehow when we feel there are so many things, we start rushing, rushing, rushing. And many times, actually, if you just stay calm, you get more done. Or at least whatever you get done, you get that done with more quality. So meditation is about having these types of realizations also. To observe, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my thought? And what am I doing with my thought power. Because this mind of us is like what is the word? A powerhouse. And it is all the time producing thoughts, producing feelings, producing certain emotions, producing a certain attitude. But how are we using that power? Are we using it positively, constructively, for our own benefit, for the benefit of others? Or are we just wasting it? Rushing, 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 and being exhausted and achieving very little. And then at the end of the day, just feeling rushed and stressed out and exhausted. So meditation is about, at least the initial phases of meditation are about these types of realization and becoming aware of how I am using my mind. No? Anyone want to say anything or ask anything so far on Zoom or here?
I felt calmer.
Calm.
Yes, I've noticed the benefit of repeat meditation over time is more than just doing it once. But what exact other benefits does it have other than making it calmer, making you calmer?
At least at this stage, it is making me calmer, and that is already a very big benefit. And when I am calm, I can think more clearly. When I'm calm, I can have a bigger perspective on things. When I'm calm, I can take better decisions and make better choices. And at this stage, that is good enough. There are many more things, but that will come over time as you study more, you deepen your meditations. But let's have one more practice. Same, just to kind of get into the habit of becoming more aware and more introvert from being so externally oriented all the time. Yeah. So just these are simple exercises, but just to like train our mind to be, what is the word? To be the master of your mind. And not master with a stick, but just that the mind serves you and not harasses you. The mind cooperates with you. Okay? So again, same thing. Gently, with love, tell the mind to slow down. Peace is a virtue. Calmness is a virtue. There's no virtue in rushing, and so many thoughts squeezed into a second. Slow down. And an easy way to do that is to just become aware of the body and the position of the body. Feet flat on the ground. Become aware of the rhythm of the inhalation and the exhalation. Become aware of the heartbeat. The heart that pumps the blood all throughout the body. Become aware of the muscles of the shoulders and the neck. and relax them. And become aware of yourself as the one who is steering this body, operating this body. The inner being, the one who is using the mind, the one who is creating thoughts. And on the screen of the mind, bring the image of a tiny star. Tiny star of serene, subtle, radiant light. Pure, still light. And just fill the screen of the mind with this image of a tiny star of serene, living light. And if other thoughts pop into the mind, you just say, "Not now, I'm busy." And you return to the thoughts and this image of peaceful light. And this tiny star is a symbol of the inner being, the being of consciousness, the soul. The living, conscious experiencer, the soul, the inner being is light. And for a few moments, just immerse the mind in this experience of stillness, of silence, of light. And as we gradually come to the end of this meditation exercise, let us aim to hold that quiet, still mind. Even though we enter again into sound and action. Thank you. Any who had 100% concentration? %80. Very good. Very good. It is not about competition, but just to kind of check yourself and experience and be aware. And also to kind of measure your progress over time. But these moments, these are like indications of how much are you in charge of your mind, or how much is the outer world in charge of your mind. Any thoughts or any comments?
I was trying to meditate, but I noticed that some thoughts were pulling me towards them, and I was getting distracted every once in a while. The rest of it went fine. When I was focusing on the breathing, that was fine. But the thoughts came and went.
But that is good also, no? To observe. No? But to say, not now. Yeah. Yeah.
Felt rested.
Someone is saying here, no? She saw that the thoughts coming and had to make a conscious effort to stop them, to come back to the initial idea. No, yeah. Part of meditation is to begin to understand how your mind works also, no? How the psyche works, and how to kind of be, in charge again. Because sometimes you notice the mind just goes all over the place anywhere, and as if you have nothing, no say over it. And to just come back and gently, not with force or anything, but gently teach the mind again what to think and how to think and what not to think and what to think at which moment. Yeah, we get stuck inside our own mind. Someone on Zoom wanted to say something?
I wanted to say that it kind of feels sometimes like a rest for my mind, almost like a mental massage when I meditate in this way. And it's like a release, it's okay to not think, it's okay to not worry about anything, to let go for that time that we set aside to do this. So I have to say that it literally does, like in my head, kind of feels like a massage.
Yeah.
I mean, mental massage, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Very good. Because often, when people share their experiences, and sometimes you notice within yourself also, there is such a pressure in our head, and thinking and worrying and thinking about the future and thinking what I want, what I need, what I have to do. All the time, it just goes on and on and on and on. And what for? Life is what it is anyway, but we are as if burdening ourselves extra by inside also being in this madhouse. No, and I'm laughing, although it is serious, but at the same time, it's good to be light about it also. But it is. mm, mm. One moment, can you please use the mic so that those on Zoom can also listen?
Yeah, the mind. It's
There with this mic.
Yeah, mind has like negativity bias. Negativity bias is like mind always looks for like negativity all the time to save you actually. That's what the negativity bias is. So that's why like when you practice gratitude means like you train your mind to see the positive things every day. So then you train your mind to like see all the, because otherwise if you don't train your mind, it's going to look at all the negative things in, what happened the whole time. So that's called negativity bias. That's the nature of the mind.
Not necessarily,
Yeah.
but at this moment, that is the default.
Yeah,
That
so
is-
you can train the mind to like see the positive things, and it distorts also. The mind exaggerates.
Mhm.
And if you know the mind nature, then I think it will be.
It is good to begin to understand what is going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyone else want to say anything or any observations? I like this thing what Jeannie said, like a massage. Massage for the mind.
How much wasted energy?
Can you use the mics? Yeah,
Anyway,
this one.
so how much wasted energy is there in worrying about things that may not happen?
And even if they happen, worrying, this is good to observe within the self. Worrying makes us weaker mentally because it's wasting energy. And so even if it happens, we are weaker to deal with whatever has to happen. And often we worry and things don't even happen or they happen differently. So it is a waste of time, actually. Preparing for something is very different from worrying about it. And but these are useful realizations for ourselves. But many of us, part of our conditioned thinking is to worry, and we are as if conditioned to think like that. But it is not our nature innately. So we can step out of it. But of course, it just as how we have become wired to worry, wired to worry, we can unwire and untangle and come back to a different state of mind. But this has happened over a long period of time. And not only it has happened to me, the world is almost like that, People think it is normal to worry. It may have become the standard, but there are other ways to go about things. But one easy way to begin to save our energy is to slow down. Because if we think very fast and think a lot of things, it makes us tired. It makes the mind tired. It drains the power of the mind. And fast thinking and many thinking doesn't lead to better choices or clearer insights. And fast thinking and lots of thinking, it is a habit that we have created over time. There's no need. There is even the idea that it is good to think fast and fast, fast, fast. In the long run, it doesn't work. We have become, what is it, conditioned to appreciate speed. But speediness in thought is not useful. But just
I
a
have a
little bit.
question. I have a
Mhm.
question. I was able to listen to you and create images. And
Mhm.
then in between, I slowed down. I had no thoughts at all.
Mhm.
And I could hear your voice in the background, but I wasn't actively trying to make images of whatever you were saying. So it was like a period of no thoughts at all. So what is the purpose? Do we have to concentrate and actively observe our brain or mind, or is it just no thoughts at all is also okay? Not having any thoughts and just slowing down, not sleeping, being awake, but having no thoughts, just blank. Everything just was blank.
There may be a phase that feels like that, and it may be useful in some moments as opposed to having all these racing thoughts. But a higher level of using of the mind is when we have empowering thoughts, when we have constructive thoughts, or maybe even elevated thoughts, or thoughts of.
Can you define elevated thoughts? What does that mean?
An elevated thought can be a thought of your own higher nature. For example, the thought of I am a being of peace. I am a being of love. And allowing that thought to come from a space of conviction and allowing that thought to become an experience. Not because an experience of love or an experience of peace or an experience of joy is more empowering than a feeling of blank. Now, blank is useful when the mind is like this, Liz. And then blank, at least it gives you like a breathing space. But that can become the what is it, the foundation for an even higher thought. Higher, it sounds a bit funny, but you understand what I mean. A positive thought or an elevated thought, which is empowering for myself. And when expressed, it becomes empowering for others.
Okay, thank you.
And
I can say one thing. So since I've started listening, I got into Brahma Kumari's, listening to BK Shivani's reels.
yeah.
So she always says, think positive, and our mind always, like when I think, the first thought comes is like, if my husband is coming late, the first thought doesn't come that he's working. The first thought that maybe something happened while he was. So you start thinking in
Yeah.
those lines.
Yeah.
But then I'm pushing myself to think that no, there's nothing wrong.
Mm.
Everything is fine.
Mm.
Things will work out.
Mm.
And 99.9% of the time, I have seen that it works out.
Things work out.
But I don't know whether it was going to work out.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mm.
Or, I mean, I just want to say that giving a positive angle to your thought
Yeah.
is a conscious effort again, because
Yeah.
you have to repeatedly, kind of
Mm.
say that no, nothing is wrong, everything is fine.
Mm.
And maybe things are working out fine. So this is a very new thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm seeing positive change in me.
Changes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you talked about elevated thought. So probably this comes a little bit in that.
Yeah, yeah. An elevated thought is a special kind of positive thought. Positive thought is broader and constructive thoughts, but elevated thought is about your own higher nature. And yeah, But this is new for many of us, no? If not all of us. We don't live in a world where this is encouraged, where this is taught. They taught me how to brush my teeth. They taught me how to tie my laces of the shoe. They taught me how to brush my hair and how to dress. And they taught me mathematics and to talk and language. But nobody taught us how to think. And so the thinking patterns that we have created over time is just what comes at us and what we see around, and then all of a sudden we think, wait a minute, something going on. Something I had to, but but we kind of have to learn and explore, and we can share, even I can share my own journey, but you still have to discover for yourself certain things. And there is a vast possibility, and the potential of our inner world is immense. But it starts with beginning to become aware of my thoughts and what is happening, and even to observe that we have such a tendency to expect the worst. Why? Why don't we expect the best? What is going on? Why am I so positioned or wired to expect the worst? Maybe there is a broader perspective that I'm not seeing. But just to become aware of this is a big, what is it? Realization, big step. I just want to share a quick, simple sketch, just to put the whole thing a little bit in context. I can't draw very well, but just to make it clear, it helps. So normally when we think of ourselves in terms of the body. And we say, this is me. I am Kathy. And Kathy has a family, husband and children. Kathy has a job. Kathy has a cell phone and a Instagram and Facebook account. And Kathy has a credit card and a bank account, and Kathy has a certain nationality and a culture, maybe a religion also. She's Christian, and she has some hobbies and social activities. Normally we think, this is me, this is my life. No? And for some reason, we get the idea that maybe I should meditate because it's all becoming too hectic. I can't manage, and the doctors say you should meditate because your blood pressure is going too high, or somebody else tells you you're too stressed out, try meditation, whatever. You hear this buzzword, meditate, meditate. So we think of ourselves like this, and we think, okay, so what am I supposed to do now? And then we just go sit down and try we don't even know what we're trying. We just sit down, and then what you notice is that actually there is a whole inner world, and all these things are squeezed inside there and jumbled up, and all thoughts are going on. So the first awareness or the first awakening that happens is that we become aware of ourselves as non-physical beings. And I'm drawing it above, but we all know a being of consciousness. And the way to describe consciousness is the experiencer, who is invisible. The invisible experiencer is using this body. The invisible experiencer is creating thoughts and having feelings and emotions and expressing those thoughts and feelings and emotions through the eyes, through the mouth, through the movements and the behavior through the body. And so what happens in this meditation, the aim is to become aware of ourselves as spiritual beings, operating this body and playing out this game of human life. And that the mind is part of the inner being. The mind is part of the soul. It's a faculty of the soul. And the mind is like a screen on which thoughts come. And feelings are generated based on the thoughts. And an attitude is generated based on the thoughts and the thought patterns and the feelings. A certain outlook and perspective. This is what happens in the mind. But we also have a subconscious part of the mind. And in the subconscious, is what the subconscious. This is becoming invisible. The subconscious. You know how you write that like this? Subconscious. We carry impressions from experiences and actions from the past. They are in our subconscious. And for example, at some stage, somebody gave you ice cream and you like ice cream. So it is in the subconscious, this impression, ice cream, nice, sweet, especially when it is hot, ice cream. So this impression is there in the subconscious. And when circumstances are such, those impressions push a thought in the mind, ice cream. Let's go get ice cream. And then the body is used to go buy ice cream, eat ice cream. And then that impression is deepened. Habits, tendencies, inclinations, likings, they are in the subconscious. The mind. And there is one more function. Thank you. That function is what we call intellect. Intellect is the wisdom that we hold to, or our common sense with which we go about our life. So some tendency says, I want ice cream. So in the mind, thought comes ice cream, and maybe even the visual also. Ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream with, what is it? Cream on top. So that comes in the mind. And the urge comes, go get ice cream. The intellect evaluates. Should I do it or not? Is this right or not? Doctor said I shouldn't have so much sweet. So that is the function of the intellect. The intellect discerns, the intellect decides, the intellect evaluates. And then the thought that is in the mind is either put into action or not. Now, this goes on this is what is called our inner world. But many times, our inner world and what is happening in our mind is defined by things here. Job or the boss, what my boss said, and the face of my boss and whatever, or ice cream, or the Instagram account. It is, so the outside world becomes our inner world. And then we lose control. Everything and anyone and anything outside becomes boss in my mind. And that is because the intellect is not wise enough and strong enough. And then the mind is used for all kinds of thoughts and we become exhausted. But end of the day, we feel we didn't really do much. Just now, meditation is about strengthening the intellect, increasing your wisdom, understanding the laws of life, understanding about the dynamics of our own mind, of our own psyche, but also understanding what are the best ways to go about our everyday actions, and so that I can make better decisions, strengthening the intellect. Meditation is about choosing which thoughts to hold in the mind, and that the mind not be a puppet anymore. Okay. So just to put the whole thing a little bit in context, and elevated thoughts would be thoughts about the being that I am. And innately, we are beings of peace. We are beings of light. We are beings of love, beings of joy. We are playful beings. We are innocent beings. We are clean beings. But because we have not strengthened the intellect, because we don't have taken control over our inner world, we have even forgotten ourselves. And we started to believe I am this. And my value is based on things like this. So instead of being masters over our minds and masters over our lives, we have become subservient to the external. But taking back control is simple. Just taking few moments, observing what is going on in the mind and consciously choosing what thought to put in the mind. And more my wisdom increases, more I expose myself to spiritual wisdom, my perspective on things changes. And I begin to see certain things are not for worry. Okay, so let's have one more practice, because I don't know why, but time flies. So again, allow the body to be comfortable. And for now, at least, tell the mind consciously to slow down. There's no need to rush. We are not human doings. Let us be instead of doing all the time. And begin to become aware and nurture the innate goodness of our own being. And consciously appreciate the body, such a valuable vehicle but also become aware of the self as the one who is operating the body, the one who is using the eyes to see, using the ears to hear, using the mouth to speak. The real I is the conscient, living being, the invisible experiencer who is operating this body from the center of the forehead, behind the eyes. And on the screen of the mind, visualize this image of a tiny star symbolizing the invisible experiencer, the soul, the real I. And try and touch base with these innate, deeper qualities of the self. Innately, we are peace-loving, and just hold that image on the screen of the mind of the tiny star of serene, subtle, sparkling, living light. Pure, peaceful soul. And as we gradually choose to come to the end of this meditation, let us cherish this awareness. And come back to it regularly. Thank you. Thank you all. Of course, this is a journey. Meditation is something we can explore and experiment more and more with. Upcoming Saturday, we have a mini retreat here at the center. It is in person. For those on Zoom, you are all most welcome also. You're also welcome to join us from 10 to 3. And we will do some more of these experiments and go a bit deeper into the different meditation exercises. But also I want to extend an invitation. One of our main teachers, Sister Jayanti, a part of the group that is heading the Brahma Kumaris worldwide, is visiting New York. And there's a special program with her on next Wednesday. So you all are invited. If you don't have the flyer, if you did not receive it, you could find it on our website. But you all are invited for that program. It's not in the center, it is an outside venue. Sister Jayanti in conversation with Thomas More on knowing the soul. And of course, there will be meditation also and different performances.